This time when I was sitting in therapy, the last session before the podcast was starting up again, she's like, I've run out of things to bring up with you because there's nothing to talk about. And that is solely from the fact that your brain is so fried and you're so exhausted and you are in such need of rest that I don't want to prod at wounds in your life that will just add more load to your already loaded plate.
Your therapist breaks up with you like 3 times a year. Hi guys, welcome back to Moment of Silence Pod. I'm Sakshi Shivdasani.
I'm Nana Bhan, and we are shitting our pants right now,
As we speak,
actively going into
the
survival
smell
mode.
is disgusting in the room right now.
Sorry for our 1 month hiatus.
Not sorry, but
No, no, no.
happy to see you.
Happy to see you. Thank you so much for sticking it out, waiting patiently. There is, we promise, a good reason that we haven't been around, and that is simply that we have been fried. Our brains are fried, our emotions have drained out of us, we are mentally unwell to okay. And we were just finding the strength to come back into this room and have a conversation with each other and you again, knowing full well that we stand behind everything we're saying and we can make it entertaining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's heavy.
Yeah.
I was just gonna be like, oh, had a little burnout. We didn't know what to say. There's also something about work that was just getting to us, and we thought it would be so relaxing, so rejuvenating. This break. Um, there's so much back end that we were avoiding in terms of our personal work as well as the podcast, that it was not a break from anything other than putting the podcast out, which arguably is our favorite part about running the podcast. And then we come back in more of a, not a rejuvenation, I would say more of a resilience.
Yeah, I don't know why today is feeling like an episode of like Fear Factor. I've never felt so scared to be on this podcast. I've never been so nervous to sit and wonder what would come out at the other side of this episode. But I'm here to take the leap with you.
I'm so excited that you have trusted me. Buckle up.
Fuck it up.
I'm never going to
Oh, did you
open a
say buckle up or
parachute.
fuck it up?
Buckle up.
Oh, buckle up.
Because we're in a free fall. We're not opening any parachutes. I feel like this is going to be one of those episodes that we just keep talking, and then at the end of it, Nana's going to be like, this episode is shit. And I'm going to be like, no, let's put it out. And you guys are going to be like, my favorite episode. I hope.
True. Okay. The premise of this entire episode is very tied to the fact that I am a chronic overthinker.
Mhm.
I'm a chronic feel badder. I'm a chronic older sibling. And the curse, the delta where all of this is formed is who I am today and why we have 200, how many 100 plus episodes of this
Oh, I
podcast.
thought you were going to say followers. I was like, no.
No, no, no.
No, no, no.
And whenever I turn to Sakshi, she has a lot of like confidence. She comes with this unbreakable, uncrackable energy. So you assume that Sakshi's always like down to do everything. And then you turn to her in your weak moment and you're like, Sakshi, I am dying, dude. I can't do this anymore. I am literally dying. And she turns around to you with what I can only describe as a look of death in her eyes. And she says, same, I've been burnt out since post the pandemic.
I started working in 2020. I got burnt out in 2022.
तब से इसका यही चल रहा है. She's like a broken matches, you know, the
Yeah.
end when you have to light the last candle.
No. I like literally my energy is like, you're on an island, you're on a desert island. You have the cigarettes. You don't have anything to light the cigarettes. And at some point, everyone's like, fuck, how do we light the cigarettes? How do we light the cigarettes? And my energy is after ragdowing 2 stones for 3 hours, you'll get that one flame, but the cigarette will be lit. Does that make sense?
Is that where you are?
Yeah.
I did not. I thought you were in that place where you're like, okay, I've used the rocks I've done everything and I am done. I'm walking into the ocean and peace out. If I make it to shore, I'll send you an
No,
Instagram
no,
meme.
I am the rocks. Someone else
You
is
are the rock.
allowing it till one spark comes out. You know, I feel like those kids that became Nickelodeon stars and everything, and then you're minus the bad stuff, just the burnout. But all their parents are like, no, you must work, you must work, you must work, and then they go insane.
Yeah.
But it's not, no one is forcing me to work, it's just me.
No. There is a world that's forcing you to work just to survive. You have to be in this world. And then on top of that, your biggest curse is that you're entertaining, and people, like when they get a chaska of Sakshi, they want the whole meal.
I stopped being entertaining a while ago.
Did anyone get the memo?
L-
I don't think so. I sat in therapy and किसी ने मेरी therapy को नजर लगाई है. I swear,
What happened?
bro. Okay. So I put up on the internet that I have a great therapist. Okay, and some unhappy person out there is like, how dare she figure this out?
Yeah.
And so this time when I was sitting in therapy, the last session before the podcast was starting up again, she's like, I've run out of things to bring up with you because there's nothing to talk about. And that is solely from the fact that your brain is so fried and you're so exhausted and you are in such need of rest that I don't want to prod at wounds in your life that will just add more load to your already loaded plate.
Your therapist breaks up with you like 3 times a year.
And dude, okay, so I told her, because I said the same thing. I said, look, I want to talk to you. You are like the
I
biggest
love you.
constant in my life. I love you. I've known you through the most tumultuous times of my life. But again, I don't want to invent a problem to sit here just to have access to you. And I know my rational brain knows that we are not friends. My rational brain knows that we have a very professional relationship. But what I realized, even in this, which was not even a breakup, it was like, let's meet again in a few weeks. I immediately started crying. And I was like, I'm feeling so abandoned.
I think she is bringing up your abandonment
Yeah,
issues.
100%. And I didn't realize that she is one of the only adults left in my life that I look to for support and that give me a very, very neutral response and don't ask me to change who I am. And I miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like my dad was the biggest proponent of that. And I miss that. And it is too hard to move through a life where you're facing the camera, to constantly hear shit, to constantly like hustle and do all of this, which you already know. When your inside is like a flame that's like being put out every second and you are, somebody is simulating this rock to try and get you going. So, which brings us back to when I'm walking on Carter Road with Sakshi as a thing that we're trying to do to feel better. And I turn to her and I'm like, dude, I am so burnt out. I don't know how to move forward. And then Sakshi turns to me and she's like, bitch, I haven't seen light in my own eyes in 6 years. And then both of us just stare at the water and we don't know what to do.
Looking at the kachra in the water.
You can't
and
even
wishing for the
romanticize
life of
it.
the kachra. Like, at least no one's picking up the kachra.
Yeah.
But you know, our relationships with our therapists, we are the lonely men that fell in love with the stripper. The therapist is just doing
so
her
true.
job. Are you okay?
I'm so like trigger ready on the PayPal link. I'm like, मैं पैसे भेज रही हूँ तो वहाँ बैठ 1 घंटा.
एक hug. मैंने pay किया.
Okay, so then I went to go touch grass. Okay.
Yeah. Where?
I'll tell you. There was no grass being touched. I'll tell you that much. I started going to things that I liked to do when I was younger. So I restarted an MMA class, which has brought me so much joy. I restarted a music class, which, oh my God, I didn't know that it was going to bring me so much joy. And this whole time, I'm like, they're like, okay, you can come on Monday and to Wednesday because Pushkar sir is only available Monday to Wednesday. I said, okay, cool, Pushkar sir, Pushkar sir. I'm expecting this old man with a handlebar handlebar mustache, like an Anglo-Indian.
Yeah,
Because-
Pushkar sir.
Yeah, I know. I think maybe it's Pushkar D'Souza or something,
Yeah.
something. And I walk in, and Pushkar sir is my age, and he's staring back at me. And both of us are just like awkwardly sitting in this room.
He was expecting a 10-year-old girl. You were expecting a 50-year-old man.
And now I don't know if this is a hang or if I'm being taught something. It is, I have to say, mildly embarrassing to wait outside before the class because all the parents are my age. And it's just me and the ayahs looking at our Instagrams waiting. But still, the joy has been unlocked. And as a result, I've asked Moses to get me a mic for my birthday.
Amazing.
Oh, shit. Guys, you're so thoughtful. You
You're
shouldn't
so
have.
welcome. This is why we're shooting. I just knew you needed to exercise your vocal cords.
And Sakshi has found new life in being a professional wedding attender.
Guys, the idea of a destination wedding, if I ever had that in my mind, please forgive me. I don't think it's not nice what y'all are doing to your friends by making them come for destination weddings. I have paid more in baggage allowance than I have paid for my education in my whole life. Genuinely. Because, okay, I don't think it's fair for flights to charge money for baggage. Okay. I think that if it's in hand carry or if it's in check in, it's going on the same fucking flight. So this is a money grab for me. And I'm not going to carry one less accessory just because the flights have a baggage allowance. But then I'm also not going to be like, no, no, please, please. I'm like, okay, give me the GPay link. But I don't want to pay for excess baggage.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
You have attended all of these weddings as a plus one.
Yes.
Okay? And your dedication
To pull a look.
to pull a look,
Right.
to gamify the event for not just yourself, for
Yeah.
other people. Sakshi has made treasure hunts happen. Sakshi
Yeah.
has made tasks happen. Sakshi is one season of mischief making away from her
Wait.
true life goal, which is to be on Splitsvilla.
I would love to be a mischief maker. Just imagine me and Urfi and Nia standing, and where Nia's cutouts end, that's where Urfi start, and then we'll be like together. Our outfits will be one big puzzle because everyone's cutouts will be different. And unfortunately, mischief making comes very easily to me. I know how to ruin people's day. And the thing is, I was watching Splitsvilla and I know I can't be a contestant. I need to be the mischief maker because I don't have the sportiness,
To
I'm
be
not.
toyed with.
Yeah. I can't take everything like, oh, it's just a game. You best believe I'll be sobbing in every dome. Um, but I think a mischief maker, and I do know Nia and Urfi are not vibing as people, according to an interview. So next season, if that's the only way I'll go back to MTV.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
This is going to
Yeah.
happen, you know that, right? Like Sakshi is right now hot property in the reality show market. There are so many reality shows being made.
No. The thing is, y'all think Naina is being absolutely serious when she's faffing like this. And I'm not hot property anywhere.
She is such hot property that
people want
people
to
are.
torture me. Y'all
They
are
have
not
started new
understanding.
formats, huh? They like plus one करके करते हैं, best friends, podcast host, ताकि मेरा number कट जाए और उसके साथ साक्षी चिपक के आ
When
जाए.
I said I'll come with you, but someone asked me to come on a reality show recently, and I said if Naina is doing it, I'll do it.
And then they called me, and then I was like, if Sakshi's doing it, I'll do it.
And
But
then we canned it. It's been shot.
put yourself in the position of a contestant on this reality show, and all of these reality shows have these like very Squid Gamesy formats
Yeah.
where some people are haves and some people are have-nots. Okay, and the people who are have-nots, they are being done dirty because you don't even know what contract you're signing. You're like, yeah, I consent to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right now, in this one show, the have-nots, they've made them sleep on the floor, and they've given them like this much chawal to eat.
Laventure.
I don't.
Yeah.
You can't have all the names on clutch. I don't really know.
I'm doing my steps again, but I'm doing them on the walking paths. I've been watching this garbage, but they gave someone a pre-packaged pani wala rice to eat in the wilderness.
That's not okay.
And the plot line of one entire episode was someone didn't flush.
Yeah.
But it's disgusting to watch. Imagine being in that situation.
I don't want to be in that situation, which is why both of us said no. Like,
Yeah.
the thing is, there is so much stress already in our daily lives. And Bombay in the last 6 months has really deteriorated because every road, we talk
Yeah.
about it all the time,
talk
it's like
about it.
broken. And recently, oh, big win, both of us got our own vehicles.
We did, and then because of Bombay Road, I've had my car for exactly 1 month, and it got punctured 2 times because the roads are so bad. And both times I wasn't driving, so you can't blame me.
But I realized yesterday was the first day that I was in the car, that how much of my mental health was just like dependent on the fact that I was so overstimulated, trying to sitting in rickshaws and getting like shit thrown in my face
Really?
every day. And I'm not saying anything other than, guys, women, you gotta work real hard, man. You gotta unlock this for yourself because half your mental health is just an AC silence.
I disagree.
What?
I miss rickshaws. I do, like, just out of principle of owning a vehicle, I'm not taking rickshaws. But in the last 1 month, I have gotten out of my car at least 4 to 5 times and said, listen, see me at the location, I'm walking. I cannot sit in a fucking vehicle that's not moving at all and just wait for things to happen. Like, I feel like you need to get to places fast, you need to walk. I feel like now I've bought this car. I'm literally every time anyone's going anywhere, I'm like, okay, you take my car so that I have a reason to walk. I have a reason to take a rickshaw. I feel like this is a cage. Why is it so quiet? Why do I have to sit here? At least when I'm driving, I love it. When I'm driving, I'm like, okay, I'm in charge, I can drive. But sitting when someone else is literally taking the wheels and you have to just be a prisoner in this vehicle, it is so it's horrifying. Okay, so for context, Naina and I are going through major burnouts. Okay, we are really trying, and our job is easy from a physical aspect. Okay, we don't have to leave the house. There's some things we can do during the day that people have to take leave for, in the sense that if I'm going to the dentist, if I have to get my facial, if I have to get a manicure, pedicure, anything that is just like a task to do, I can put on the camera for 5 seconds, say it's part of my vlog, and move on with my day. I'm not trapped from 9 to 5 in a physical space. Even though there's no work or anything of that sort, all of that is 100% an aspect of the job that is great. But the thing is, mentally, any creative field, and I fully understand if y'all don't think that this is a creative job. Like, it's very easy to come and talk to your best friend for an hour a week, right? But but we are burnt out. The analogy that we use mostly in private is someone has gone inside us and sucked us out from like a chusa our arm
Or a nalli.
or a nalli, something, So we took the break. We're still feeling pretty burnt out. So there is a sense of impending doom.
At all times.
There is a gray cloud that walks in with, how Ori and Urvashi walk in with their own lights. We walk in with our own cloud of depression. Right? So if this episode is not making sense to you, you're so right.
Okay, what you see as a prison, and I'm
Yeah.
going to try to unpack that with you,
Yeah.
is what I see as a cocoon,
Sanctuary.
a sanctuary. Like, I, for the first time in my life, have a fear of getting to the destination. Don't take me there. I just want to sit in that car. That is my suspended reality. That is the moment. The minute the AC blast hits my face, I'm like, ले जा मुझे भगवान, कहीं और ही ले जा. Like,
Amazing.
take me somewhere, and then I don't want to say anything, but just take me somewhere else. Like, at night, I was never a night person. I was always a morning person, but the night is so quiet and no one needs you for anything, and no one has anything bad to say about you that I because I don't read Reddit at all.
Yeah.
So,
No,
so
no, very relevant.
yeah. So, so it's so peaceful for me. Like airplanes, people, everyone around me has like flight turbulence fear, but every time the flight is turbulent, I feel more at peace.
It's so fun. It's like a roller coaster of life, but again, a prison. An airplane is literally the definition of a prison that you have voluntarily checked yourself in.
Okay, what happens in a car when you are not actively taking the wheel that makes you feel like it is an entrapment?
Okay, everybody that drives will get this. When you are not driving, you assume that you will be faster than the person currently driving. You assume that you will be able to cut it in ways the person who's driving can't. So when you see someone else driving, you think that in their head they're playing some slow ass fucking song and they're not able to drive at the speed and the efficiency and all of that you would be driving at, you know?
Where are you getting to?
What do you mean?
Where are you going that you need to take these like
I think
unshunt rasta to get 5 minutes there
wasting
early?
time on traveling, I feel like the biggest thing, and I think you can measure success in if you have the option of walking to every place necessary for you to go. Okay, for masti, whatever you need to travel further away, I think. And keep in mind, my dad has been traveling for 2.5 hours each way since the last 30 years, and I think his health, everything, like his time with family, his time with friends, everything has suffered because he didn't buy a house closer to his workplace or vice versa. I don't know what his logic was, doesn't really matter. But I think the biggest thing that I have unlocked for myself is that I don't need a vehicle if it comes down to it. Like everywhere I need to go, I can walk to, including this office.
Pushing it, but okay. I was going to ask
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
how did you see stress play out when you were growing up? Like, what were non-verbal cues that your parents were going through a high stress situation, and what was the way out of it? Did they just calm down? Did they do? Obviously, no one was labeling their mental health back in the
Yeah.
90s and the early 2000s, but what did you see, and what did you learn from that?
I think we're a very like snappy family when we're overwhelmed. I think if we're trying to do a task at any point and it's stressing us out and some external stressor comes in, it's like, no, not now. Like, so I think we kind of shut down the stuff that wasn't important in the moment and we were like, we'll deal with it when we deal with it.
And did you guys ever deal with it?
So my dad, his autoimmune disease got activated because of stress. So no, I don't think we did. But it's so bad when like your hair starts falling out and all of that because of stress. How did you deal with it?
I mean, we're a very snappy family as well, like emotionally triggered at all times. And I don't think I've seen any woman in my family ever admit that she is burnt out. And if she has admitted that she's burnt out, she goes back out into the world with plus 10,000 energy and does it every day with a good blowout. So I'm like, this is not the best example to live. And by that regard, I don't think I put out the best information into the world myself. Like my therapist was saying, no one can look at you and say she can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So no one really beyond a point is going to actually try and help you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but I need the help. I really do need the help. But the way that I can maneuver like somebody treating me badly is a case study. And is that you can treat me badly, 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 and then I spend 5 hours by my not 5 minutes by myself. First, I cuss you out, and then I'm like, okay, I understand the circumstances. This is
Yeah.
what they must be going through. Let me try and add from my already depleted reservoir more energy so that I can close the gap because at the end of the day, the work has to be done. And I think the only time I successfully shut that down was when I ended my last relationship. I think that was the first time I experienced this is a breaking point and I cannot be broken further than this.
Okay.
And now I'm like, oh, if I learned it once, I might be able to learn it again. But even today, like operating through the world, I'm like, what needs to happen, Nana, that will break you so much that you are like, okay, sorry, I need to take time out. I cannot be a functioning member of society for a little bit. Nothing. Nothing. And I am fucking struggling.
But what does free time, like say money is not a bar or anything
Yeah.
of that sort, what would you do in your free time?
Um, very, very simple things. Like I would just read. I would again like do I find like self-soothing to happen through like creative expression in any shape
Mm-hmm.
or form, or consuming things that are not because you have to deliver something on the other side. So like painting, singing, any kind of thing that lets your body just regulate movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone, I met Radhika Seth as well recently, and she was like, "Can we talk about how we're all operating our lives like we're in summer camp?" Like, because you go to, like, if I hate going to the gym now, but if I don't go, I'm losing my mind. I hate being on camera, but if I'm not on camera, I don't know what to do with all this like energy that I'm putting out there. I but basically everything that I'm like, I don't want to do this, at the other side of it, I'm like, this was amazing that I pushed myself to do it.
Hmm. I think that's the problem with, and all of us are high functioning, hyper functioning women. We always need to be employed in some shape or form. If you're not at work, you're cleaning your closet. If you're not cleaning your closet, you're doing the next thing. Because when your mind is idle, because you feel so much, you read so much, you know so much, and with the fucking current state of the world, there is no way you won't feel doom. There is no way you won't feel like
Yeah.
depressed by just the circumstance. This is the first time in the world where my own ideals as a child, that you grow up thinking that good persists in the world and like good over evil, but yet every direction you look, it is evil thriving. It's
Yeah.
nasty shit that's happening against any kind of human rights. It's the death of empathy, and it's disgusting. And how do you live in a world, and how do you reconcile in a world like that? And especially coming from where we are, how can I feel good being successful in a world where this is the state of the fucking world? Yuck.
Very Janvi Kapoor of
Yeah,
you.
no, 100%. And yeah, then I go back into my car and I sit in my AC and I feel like, okay, I've thought enough about the world, done my deed for the day, and I go home. Yeah, and it's shitty.
Do you feel guilty?
100%.
Explain.
If you're an emotional person, there is no way that even if you're reading a headline, or you're watching a reel, or you're watching things where somebody else has cards drawn out that are really, really opposite to you, will not bleed into your life and affect you to be like
Right. And obviously, we are all very aware that we are two geographical time zones from being the next
center of attack.
of attack. We are one wrong move away from being basically women in Afghanistan are
Yeah.
struggling right now. Where literally we happened to be born here. You know, there's nothing. And when rights start getting taken away, everyone thinks it's not going to happen to them, but then it is going to happen to you. So it's very anxiety inducing. It's very scary what's happening. There's so much happening, and you have to kind of speak up, if not in public then in private, because then there is that entire thing. And then just in general, being a good human is requiring a lot of, speaking up for, because so many things are fucked up right now. You have to speak up to all of them. And then we are also in that privileged sector where we can do something about it through like donations and all of that. And then you do all of that, and then you're like, okay, but at the end of the day, to afford myself that privilege, I have to do some things that don't fully align with my ethics as well. So you're in that moral dilemma as well. Like, I can.
And your moral dilemma plays out in front of the world.
but the thing is, I feel like I'm very grateful for the privilege, and I will speak up in the capacity that I can. But I don't know. I don't know what's the move. Is it that you rid yourself of the privilege? Is it that you use your privilege to speak up? Is it that you use your privilege to help others? Because it doesn't really count if you're on the bad side and you're using your, you know,
Yeah, I understand.
but and then you think that this is the first time in history that this is happening. But we know that on both sides we have so many refugees in the family, and they were also from privilege, and that was snatched away from them. And could they have done something differently? No. So then you kind of are like, okay, life is going to go where it's going to go. But then you also look at during the partition, a lot of people moved a year before because there was news of the partition. But then do you act on every single conspiracy you hear? So, and then do you become a flat earther, or like do you become live long enough to see yourself become the villain? Do you like if, as simple as, and then there's some people that are doing all the things that you are not doing, but then they'll sit and comment about you buying fast fashion, and then you're like, but I donated like half my monthly salary to women's rights. And then you're like, okay, I'm never going to leave the country as a refugee. I don't have, my dog can't handle it. His physiotherapy is very close to the house. So then I'm like sitting, as soon as any war is announced, I'm thinking of ways that we can end our life together. And then I'm like, no.
This is not a gag, huh?
Someone will have a thought piece about this. Maybe other Varya will comment on like,
You better hope you get a kind narrative and not a
I
rude
won't.
one.
I won't. If life of Pooja was not spared, I don't think Sakshi Shivdasani is gonna be spared. It's just the way the world works.
You know, stress is passed down in vitro. Like when you're in your mother's womb and
Hmm.
your mother has cortisol, it passes through the placenta and it passes into you. So
My
you're
child is gonna need Botox.
and yeah, I can definitely assume that as to second and third generation refugees, your parents were in Bombay while blasts were happening. You were born very close to those.
Yeah.
That there has been like a decent amount of stress and cortisol that has been passed to you genetically even before you chose the stress for yourself.
Yeah, but I think I've chosen the Harvard of stresses.
I
I
love
think
that.
I've chosen the most privileged stress. Can you imagine? Our stress is still not physiological.
Yeah.
It's all like anxieties, which I'm not saying are not valid, but there's people that have to deal with all these anxieties plus physiological stresses of.
How is it not physiological?
I'm
Like
saying
we
like
both have PCOS.
I don't have PCOS.
Okay. Oh, I thought
She keeps saying I have PCOS.
I
I've
just want one.
clarified multiple times that I don't have PCOS.
Okay, you've been falling ill
Yeah.
literally every
No,
second
I'm
day.
saying like, okay, this is all stress is manifesting physiologically.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I've been seeing even up to my mom, and this is such a random example, and I know I'm coming across really privileged right now. The fact that we wear comfortable footwear when we have to walk 5 minutes, but there's people just walking around with foot pain all the time because buying ergonomical shoes is expensive. This is something we'll never have to deal with.
How JK of you.
JK.
Janvi, come on. I'm like, dude, can we just operate on the level that okay, we have baseline privilege and that most people watching
Baseline.
we have privilege, you have privilege. We let's pass that point because nothing you say after that, or
But
before that
the-
can fix this conversation.
No, I
Yeah.
fully agree, but I'm saying like we are the least stressed people in this country.
I would okay, okay.
Except our male partners.
Yeah, I was gonna say
just
one
the
second.
lightest people in the
One
fucking
second.
world. My upper caste Hindu, straight cis boyfriend who will be like, just relax, and you're like, Abhi, the weight of the patriarchy is making me hunch, and then someone's gonna comment on this hunch, and my feet hurt from wearing heels. And he's like, just don't wear heels. And you cannot, like, the only people less stressed than us, privileged, independent women, are privileged independent men.
Yeah. ठीक है, number 2 को भी problem होती है. It's fine. Can't
Yeah,
deny.
yeah. And we don't have the gold medal. That's the thing.
Yeah. We've been really trying hard to get the gold medal.
Yeah. My boyfriend recently suggested that I should go for Vipassana.
Guess who got a black eye
And
after that
literally,
comment?
and not been seen in public after that. Haven't vlogged when he's in the room. I was so upset. I was like, Vipassana? Who's gonna shoot this skincare brand deal? If I go to Vipassana, it's gonna go to Rebel Kid. Sorry, it's the other way.
Oh, okay. Tell me, how do you self-soothe if you are so shot up all the time, if you're so anxious, if you have depressive tendencies? I'm not fully going to say that you're depressed.
No one wants to diagnose me with anything, so I'm not diagnosed with anything. But I also wanted to bring up, like, do you also think that because you're so stressed and then you have to kind of mask your stress when you're around your family, your friends, our job is kind of public, so that do you think the people that get the worst of you are the closest people to you?
100%. Closest one person. My boyfriend gets the worst of me.
Not even your mom, sister.
My shield all of it from my mom and sister. And my mom comes with a magnifying glass and she's like, tell me, you'll have to tell me. Something's up, right? Something's up. But it's
And then
that.
you go home and beat your boyfriend.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but I can't cry in front of my mom. I can't cry in front of my sister. You can't catch me dead crying in front of my friends. I can't do it.
Therapist left you.
Therapist left me. I cried and she still didn't stay.
She's like, hey, have a 1 hour is over.
So yeah, the only person I can be my worst self in front of is my boyfriend. And it was brought to my notice also. And I acknowledge it. And I have worked on that also. And I'm like, no, you can't come home and drop all your shit on your boyfriend. And you can't come home and put all the weight of the patriarchy on your relationship. You are not fixing anything. You.
Fuming.
Nahi. So that's why we've really made sure that one, I have many hobbies where I can exercise my anger.
Like, we're basically in anger management.
Yeah. And two, we do many romantic things together. And I try my level best to bring my best personality at least for an hour before the worst personality comes in. Just when he starts smiling, I'm like,
how dare you?
My therapist left me.
No, I feel like for me, my parents, my sister, and I think even my friends are not spared. I think every time recently I was chilling at a party and I was zoning out, and then I just like did like a, and everyone was like, what happened? And then I was like, I just realized for a really long time I hadn't made any expression. And I know someone was watching. So I just hope it was timed with a joke. And they were like, it's so fascinating the way.
Why are you crying?
I'm not crying. I'm genuinely, I was laughing about a bunch of
We are
stuff.
down bad. You look definitely like you're crying.
No. I'm
Promise?
genuinely not crying.
It's the tear with the look of like a loss of spirit in your eyes. I think I got
genuinely
confused.
don't. It's the spark. It's the spark in my eye.
Yeah.
Now I don't know why. My eyes are watering because I'm not feeling cranky. But basically, there's a level of masking that obviously is happening. And then even in therapy, when the therapist, the moment I started crying in therapy was when she was like, just to let you know, we are contractually bound. I cannot speak about what's happening. You can be yourself here. And I started crying. Disgusting.
No, but it's
And she was
fair.
like, and then I was like, we can just move on. It's not gonna stop.
But that's so fair. When are you ever yourself without figuring out what character that looks like?
That's very deep. But I genuinely thought I was myself on my Carter Road walks till some Buddha came and started flirting with me.
So even on Carter Road, like Sushi is a character who has a bit. I'll tell you Sushi's character. Sushi's character is that Sushi takes on fights bigger than he can take on
Yeah.
at all times, and he has a fear of huskies.
He has a few. Yeah.
Sakshi's character is that she's a hyper independent woman who's recovered from her MCL tear, and it hurts her somewhere inside, but she'll never let you know it. And they
No.
walk down Carter Road, and the leash is matching the shoes, is matching the bag. There's a full
But
aloe
then
fit
if
on.
anyone looks at me, I'm like, oh, I can't believe they've recognized this fucking caricature walking on the road with a matching sock to the leash to the bag. Like, and it's so idiotic because why am I dressed up like that?
Comment down below. Is there a character that you put on in your life, whether it's for a parent, for your friends, for your family, for your boss, that you find
Funny.
funny or you struggle with, and you're like, okay, I wish I could take this mask off and just chill for a bit?
We're all just wolves in sheep masks. Sheet mask.
Clothing, sheet mask.
Sheep clothing.
Okay.
Okay, let's make this slightly more positive, I would say. What was your popcorn of this month?
My popcorn is so many popcorns, dude. Popcorn ke pe popcorn hi hai mere to.
While watching Dhurandhar.
I didn't watch Durandar, but my popcorn was that I finally crossed my bucket list item of buying a car,
Right.
which when I moved to Bombay 4 years ago, I did not think that it would happen for me this soon. And I have become stronger. I've gotten on my diet. My mom came and hung out with me. I have a great set of friends and people in my life that I can.
You went to a iconic Bombay gymkhana.
Oh yeah. I went to one of the Bombay haunts that that all the sobo people go to. Again, another like tick mark in my Bombay journey.
Yeah.
Now when someone takes me on that Bombay journey, I'll be like only pointing out bougie places. This is why I bought my car. This is why I had caviar with Ranveer Singh.
My favorite thing about Naina is sometimes she'll like message me and she'll be like, did this today. It was so fun. And it'll be the most inaccessible. Only the 0.1% rich people of Bombay have done it. She'll be like, everyone must do it.
They
Like,
must. Did I know? Would you know that you're going to unlock this for yourself? And my biggest hack in life is you don't need to be the richest person in the room, but you need to have the richest friends in the room, because then you can enjoy the perks and you don't have to deal with the maintenance.
One of my friends recently, who is a member at one of the like Willingdon Beach Candy CCI, I don't know which one, but she had signed a guest in, and the guest vomited on the table, but she didn't want to lose her membership, so she cleaned the vomit with her bare hands, so the waiter didn't realize. So heavy hangs the head that wears the gymkhana membership.
Shit. What was
So
your
you would rather
popcorn?
be the guest.
Yeah,
My popcorn. I don't know. I haven't I've shopped a lot.
Okay, that's always a
I
popcorn.
What have I done this month? I've been here only. I've not even traveled. I went to Calcutta and I went to Dehradun.
Yeah.
Sweet. I wore some cute outfits. I feel like my life ends at playing dress up, and I'm not even the best dressed person in
You are
any room.
the best dressed person in the room,
Now
for
that I
sure.
started doing my hair, people think that. But I have a flop. No, I don't have a flop corner. I've been zen this month. I feel like if I'm not required, I go back into my cave.
Mhm.
So I've been in my cave. I've been hibernating this month. I've been hibernating on Magnolia's bakery food and cucumber and carrots. So that's my new diet, by the way. So yeah, I've been in hibernation, but I'm defrosted. I'm out. I'm happy to be here.
Do you ever think about
Death. We're bare biceps. Aliens.
आपने
क्या-
कभी यति देखा है? Do you ever think about little Sakshi?
No, she was quite a loser.
Would little Sakshi be proud of who you are today?
I think little Sakshi would think I'm fat.
Band karo ye show. Khatam. Okay.
Well,
Anything nice? I thought we make it positive.
I know I started, but I was gonna make it positive from like your lens. Because I feel like
Okay.
Naina has the ability to make things feel positive. Like, she'll see something, like you can see garbage, and then Naina will be like, look at that one flower rising through the garbage. And I'll be like, this is fucking filthy. Someone needs to clean it up. Okay, fine. You know, I
Okay.
feel like there's one optimist in the room, there's one pessimist in the room.
I don't like that you've called dibs on pessimism because it is literally something that keeps me going.
But you're always looking for the good and the bad.
To not be completely depressed.
Oh,
Coming back to baby Sakshi,
that bitch.
would she be proud of you today?
Okay, so ever since I was a kid, you know how y'all remember the Founty story?
Yes.
My main thing was I
Wait,
don't want.
rejig for the people
Okay,
who don't know.
basically, I wanted to distribute bounty to my kids, to my classmates in the fifth grade for my birthday. And my dad, to save X amount of money, has gone and bought fake bounty. Like it was called Founty. It was 20% cheaper, whatever the fuck. And I didn't know how much my dad was making because I got everything that I bitched and whined for. And now that I know how much my dad was making, I understand why he had to kind of, be smart with his budgeting. And I have gone to the store yesterday and bought a bunch of things without looking at the price. And luckily for me, I didn't flinch even after I paid the bill. So was, I think the only place I really thrive is in my career. And I think baby Sakshi would have been proud of that because I never thought of like traditional metrics of like marriage or anything of that sort. I wasn't I don't think younger Sakshi cared about that because I was always such like I was like a tornado. I would walk into places, fuck shit up. That was always my thing. So I always knew that it would be so difficult for someone to match my freak when it came to like marriage or anything of that sort. That was not the success I was looking for. I just wanted to buy bounty instead of founty. So in that aspect, I think I have
Killed it.
killed it. Yeah.
When a person gets triggered or when they're feeling in their fight or flight, you always kind of retract into that younger version of yourself that you fiercely want to protect or you don't want to protect. Would you want to protect yourself when you enter that situation?
I do want to protect myself, but also this is so difficult for me to answer because there's like entire chunks of my childhood that you could get me like a memory finding pill and I could not conjure. So for me, like anything about, and my childhood wasn't like bad or anything. I've just like locked out like embarrassing memories or anything of that sort. And just as virtue of being a kid, you have a lot of embarrassing
Mhm.
memories. So I would just like I was looking through my Google photos that day, and I was like, when did 2016 happen?
Mhm.
Like I just can't remember that entire year. I can't remember 2019. There's like full years where I'm like, eeks. So I don't know. But do you remember and want to protect your childhood?
Fiercely,
Leonie,
fiercely want to
tell us
protect
more about baby Nana.
baby Nana. Dude, baby Nana was the best.
Yeah,
Yeah, such a happy kid.
yeah,
Just always wanting to smile and put a smile on everyone's face. There's like this very lame thing that happened in school, which I was like, this is so fucking lame. We used to go on these trips. Okay, there were these like spirit building trips that we had in the 11th grade where they would take you to a village and they would make you live a village life so that you would understand, like, develop
yeah.
empathy.
20 South Delhi kids versus
Yeah.
empathy. Like,
And there was this like feeling circle, okay, where they made you like write down a bunch of shit, and then you had to talk about like what was worrying you, what was something in your life that you wanted to work through. my circle, every one person's parent had passed away, someone had passed away in an accident, one person was dealing with some chronic financial thing, something. And then it came to me, and I realized that my thing said, I just want to make everyone happy. I was
I
just,
love that.
yeah, but I was like, till that point, like nothing had happened in my life that was so insane.
Tragic, yeah.
Yeah, that like that I was so like thrown off by. And when I come into a space where being happy or presenting as happy is something that actually gets you ahead in life, and generally, like if you're in an office and you're a personality hire, which I've always been,
You are the personality hire. You bring the
skill is just a
personality
bonus.
also, and then you. Naina does too much. Sick of it.
That it is tough, because then the thing that you hold so sacred to yourself becomes a deliverable and
Yeah.
asked of you at all costs. I have to enter this room, I have to make people feel good, because if they feel good, I don't mean this in any kind of like sex worky way, I get
No.
paid. You know,
You get paid to make people feel
happy.
good.
Yeah, exactly. And so till this point, I think what was happening was that because I didn't feel as successful or that I had established myself, the only thing that I had in my toolkit was to be entertaining or to have a good like work ethic and stuff. So I was constantly renegotiating my boundaries and letting them be like, completely crossed left, right, all over the place. And I think that self abandonment made me feel really, really shitty. So now when I feel like I'm in a place of power and you come back to it if you care about it enough, I feel so protective, like a older sister to the younger self in me. I'm like, no one can touch this bitch. Like, she is too fire. She
Yeah.
has the sauce. She is just the most amazing person. Like, I look at my own baby videos. I'm like, that is it. Cutest
Up
kid
to
alive.
date.
Ab isko kisi ne
मैं वनवास में थी. I'm back now.
I'm back.
so
I'm so back. Yeah. No one can fuck with that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weren't
Until
you
they
a
do.
bully in school who was fucking with you?
The younger, prepubescent me. Post-pubescent. ठीक है. Thoda, I had a bad time.
No. I was joking.
No, no.
Naina has not bullied anyone. Comment down below.
I'm sorry.
Can I say something? I just want to share a random story. So I went over to my parents' house that day. My mom is giggling and I'm like, what's up? She was like, I saw on Instagram and there was this like, everyone's worried about the Strait of Hormuz, but no one's thinking about the gays of Hormuz. Okay. And then whatever we and I was like, okay. Then my aunt walks in. She's the same age as my mom. She's born in the same year, same city. And she says, I saw the funniest meme today on the internet. Everyone's thinking about the Straits of Hormuz, but who's thinking about the gays of Hormuz? And I was like, this joke has found its target audience. And I just want moment of silence to find its target audience. Like, this joke has found 60-year-old women who grew up in Bombay.
Every laugh feels like it's going to end in a cry. Okay. We have to
We have to.
we have to keep our TRP up. So there are some trending topics that we must discuss.
Don't we want to discuss Janvi Kapoor and Raj Shamani?
No.
Okay.
Trending topics. IPL has started. And I thought after my last big win, my win, that I would watch more IPL, but I just don't know the timings. And so far I missed all the matches.
They've added more teams.
They've added more teams. Sakshi, name 5 IPL teams.
I know the OGs. I know Mumbai Indians, Kolkata Knight
Knight
Riders,
Riders,
Chennai Super
Super
Kings,
Kings,
Rajasthan Royals,
Royals,
Hyderabad Sunrisers.
Sunrisers. What would the Moss cricket team be called? Mossies, right? Moss Riders. Moss.
Peaks.
Moss Natives.
Moss Natives.
Queens. Moss Ranis.
What is Punjab's team called? Kings 11 Punjab.
Yeah.
Queens.
7.
Why 7?
I don't know. I was trying to guess the number you were saying. Your mouth made that like you were going to say 7, but you didn't say
This my
anything.
favorite segment is Naina trying to get the TRP up because I'm never on board. I don't know where this has come from. And then we're like talking about the IPL.
Okay. Next trending topic. Samar Raina comeback after latent controversy.
Did you watch it?
I did actually watch
How
it.
was it?
It was well written for his audience. And again, we were talking about this in the car. No one deserves to be cancelled like that, especially for like something that was okay. Wait, how do I
I'm
say
so
this? Yeah,
I'm struggling with the thing because if I want free speech in this country, then we need the other side also to have free speech. And I'm okay with that, which is what I think the US was doing for a long time, that everyone was allowed to have their opinions. But now there's a sense of like, we can't say this, we can't say that. And that's not Indian to me. You
yeah.
know, the country I grew up in does not have the values that there are right now. Like, if there's a social boycott on Ranveer Alabadia for making a bad joke, which is what Samay said in a reel that I saw of his special as well, that's fine. But then the entire career ending because of a bad joke, which maybe should not have reached the audiences that it reached just because of the nature of it, but
The
not the
punishment
worst
was not justified.
and not the worst thing happening in this country.
Not.
Like, just it, not even top 20 worst things happening in this country, not even top 50 things.
Or even like, say, for example, in Dhurandhar, where you're censoring bad words, but you're seeing gore at a level that should not be seen, especially by an impressionable mind at all.
Yeah, it's insane. It's just absolutely insane that the I don't know, maybe I'm not able to clock it, but the place that the line gets drawn
Mhm.
never makes sense to me. It just is absolutely not making sense. I don't know.
That's where a lot of the anxiety and fear comes from, because today you could say the sky is blue and it's okay, and tomorrow you say the sky is blue and suddenly you've like offended the people of the
Yeah.
sky, and you're like, oh fuck, what? I didn't even know that I didn't have that intention at all.
And in history, anyone who like switches sides or everything is a coward.
Yeah,
But when your rights are being questioned, it's very hard to stand your ground.
100%.
I will stand my ground, but
Within
it's
limits. I mean,
getting.
even he apologized, right? Because he also,
But that's what
how you cannot fight a losing battle. You have to think tactically. You need to do what you need to do,
yeah.
and then later, when things calm down, when the media cycle calms down, is when you can come back, which is exactly what he did. And
You
he,
have to go into exile
yeah,
yeah.
when your time has come.
Yeah. Crazy. And we're just talking about creating
I
content.
know. And imagine, like, my throat is choking. I was like, fuck, what if I, even in this vagueness, which I anyway conduct myself with so much vagueness, what if I've said something vaguely offensive?
Sorry.
Sorry.
My comment wasn't just inappropriate, it was not funny. I'm not a comic. Shout
Okay.
out Ranveer.
Trending topic number 3. Ozempic launches in India. Ozempic launches in India. Okay.
I'm
Um,
anti Ozempic.
because you worked really hard in the gym.
No, I just think it's not well researched enough to be consumed the way it's being consumed. I do understand in extreme cases, people's weight, like, or people's weight will kill them before any side effect from Ozempic. And I do understand in extreme cases why it's being used where people are medically like
In need of it.
in need
But
of it. But there are no free
lunches.
lunches. There's something about it that's just not adding up to me. As someone else was like, what if there's an Ozempic shortage and then the people that have not been eating for so long suddenly are really hungry and they're not getting their Ozempic, and then that causes some sort of
Yeah.
cannibalism or God knows what.
Casual use And yeah, casual use of anything. I also feel like that with like cosmetic fillers and stuff, right? I feel like when you're using cosmetic fillers and treatments early on in your life, you don't think about the repercussions of it later in your life. Like today at 20, you might need like baby Botox and half a filler or whatever, and it feels so like throwaway. हाँ, इसमें क्या होता है? It's very natural.
Yeah.
Then what starts happening when you're 30, 40, 50, 60? Like, then you literally start embodying the substance, the film in real life, because how much can you keep tinkering? Or like now, Kris Jenner did a full second facelift, but now people are commenting on her neck and they're commenting on her hands. And yeah, there will be parts of you that will age. And if you keep trying to fight aging from a narcissistic lens, it's a bit of an issue. But if
Yeah.
you're doing it or you're using Ozempic from a health perspective, where your obesity could in fact be a detriment to your life,
Yeah.
then I guess you got to do what you got to do.
I'm 100% on board with that. I just think even if you can and choose to use Monjaro or Zempic to lose weight, still go and build that muscle. Even if you're not losing weight, still show up in the gym and build that muscle, because there is you see a 70-year-old that's been nourishing their body since uh, 70 years, and then you see someone who's not been nourishing their body. You see the mobility, you see everything. There's the box jumps that we do in the gym that are so daunting. A kid can easily do box jumps. Like, it's not even a, like, we've forgotten basic movement in our body, even if it means just going for 1 hour and like nodding your head or just some basic movement. Like, there is, we are going to need to be physically fit. I don't know what's going to happen, but we are going to need our bodies to stand by us.
On a tangential note, and I don't condone it, please do your own research. I got armpit Botox.
Oh
If
yeah.
anyone needs to know, I have stopped sweating in one part of my body.
Yeah, crazy.
Only 150 more places
Yeah.
to go. Woo!
I was thinking of getting foot Botox
For heels.
for heels. My feet really hurt. Like, I'm just too big to be held by these feet. I just can't do it anymore.
Last trending topic: social media banned in Australia for kids under 16.
16, you're a grown person, just by the way.
16, I was
For
already
social
on
media.
chat sites like ASLing 40-year-old men.
Yeah.
Just like, we
I
were
get to like 12. Like, let them build some character, some spiciness, or
Were you on Omegle?
yeah.
Yeah, we were all on like the internet doing things we should not have been doing at
But we
15.
were really discovering the internet with the adults at the same time, right? Uh, I feel like now the internet is so cooked that you can't send a child, like, it's like sending a child to war,
Hmm.
where you don't know what equipment the other peoples are trying to show.
Having said that, I know that I'm fully addicted to the internet and I am addicted to social media. I need my hit. Like I really need my hit of the internet. When I
Yeah.
wake up, I dream about the internet. When I sleep, when I'm at the gym, I want to check what's happening on Reels.
They started confiscating my phone at the gym, by the way. Like, my trainer will be like, "Oh my god, love your cover," and then he'll take it and put it in his pocket for 2 hours that I'm at the gym.
And when I don't know where my phone is, my hand starts sweating.
I almost didn't vote because he said you couldn't take your phone inside.
We didn't go for that reality show because
That though I wasn't going to do. Guts to take your phone away for 14 days while they tinker with your brain
that's
cells.
insanity making.
How can you take away my, and you know what? I said I need to talk to my dog. And they were like, I said, talk about.
No, it was definitely a talk to your dog. Okay. Last question I want to ask you before we end this episode.
Yeah. I'm so scared.
If you're a control freak,
No.
you
I'm a big control
Yeah.
freak.
if you're a control freak, which I would like to admit that most women are, and this is not based on any research, it's just based on my gut feeling. What are some ways that you can conserve your energy and move through life and not face a burnout?
I feel like handing over delegation. But when you delegate, no one can read your brain. So I think you just have to like, uh, actually, Ankita Hassel Rani, she had some reel about she divides tasks into four quadrants. One is urgent and important that you have to do yourself. One is urgent and can be delegated. Some is not urgent and has to be delegated, so you forget about that. And then some is like not urgent, but I'll get to it.
But here's my problem: when you delegate a task, the person you've delegated to, how do you ensure that this is on their priority list in the same way it's on your priority list? Because that's why delegation fails, right? Like, that's why moms are cranky all the time, because
Yeah.
if I have 100 tasks to do and I have delegated one task to you, I want to be able to knock that task off my list. But if you take your own sweet time to do it, then that mental load will be on me and it will get in the way of all the other 99 tasks that I have to do.
No, but then your task, you can't knock it off your list. You have to put it into follow up on
Yeah,
XYZ.
but isn't that more painful than just doing the task yourself?
This is my driver analogy, sweetie. That's what I'm saying. You can't sit in the car and just stare out of the window. You have to take the wheels. No one is coming to save you. Like, you have to take Linking Road on yourself. You cannot wait for someone to take a U-turn and then the signal is yellow and then they stop the car instead of speed. It's the pits. It's the pits.
You know, I've been burnt the other way, where if there's a straight road and one car comes in your way and comes in front of you, the people in my life have had the fucking annoying habit of let me take a winding other route because this one car is an obstacle and I will reach 30 seconds later. But that winding route takes you 5 minutes off. Literally, my family. Imagine this, okay? One day I am just sitting in Delhi having dinner and I get a call. Ma'am, your entire family has fallen into a ditch. My mom, my dad, my sister, my entire family who I depend on is driving back home, and th- there's a part of the road which is somebody has covered with some like twigs and stuff, but it's actually a khandar. And my dad, I think he was married to Google Maps as well,
Yeah.
because he is in an emotional relationship with Google Maps and he thinks she's a bitch. Okay.
Yeah.
They are constantly fighting. This fucking bitch keeps taking me the wrong way
Yeah.
all the fucking time. And doing this entire emotional drama with Google Maps, this man has driven the car this way down. My entire family has seen their life flash before their eyes for 5 seconds and they've fallen with the
Wear your
car.
seatbelts.
Bro, luckily, nothing happened. The villagers had to come, rope one person down,
Rappling.
rappelling, taken one member of
That's
my family out.
crazy.
So for me, I would rather take the straight road and get that 5 seconds extra of one person in front of me and reach my destination safely than this fucking adventure of like, let me take the road less traveled because, tasks can be creative. No.
No, I'm just saying you take the straight road, but take it faster. And don't let people cut in line.
This is
And
what I'm
don't let
saying.
people cut in line. You don't do it on foot. You don't do it in a car. And I will honk. And I think road rage is one of the pillars that this country is built on. And I think the beauty about not following rules is, like others not following rules, is that I don't have to follow the rules. And that's so cathartic because everyone is shameless on Bombay roads. So you can be shameless on Bombay roads.
Which is fine till you have a problem. And then who do you call if no
Papa.
one is? Yeah. Well,
You
it's
call
not
me,
going to
you
go
call
through.
me, you call me.
Yeah, I'm saying then you don't know who is going to come out and save you because you don't know who to trust.
This is in
Come.
my city, someone will come and save you. Don't stress.
When did we lose the analogy? I don't know if this is an
it's not
analogy or we're actually talking about
Suddenly
Linking
my
Road for the last
Mumbai
5 minutes.
love has come out. Someone
fine.
will always come and save you. You do you. There's good in the world.
Undid my entire 5 years of therapy.
Closed mouths don't get fed. So you have to ask.
Have you heard of thingy that goes into your
Ivy drip.
Yeah,
What about it?
it feeds you. It keeps you alive.
Yeah, it does.
So anyway,
I have heard of her.
thingy that goes into. Last question, and I know that this is going to separate us entirely.
I know,
I
I
can
know.
just feel the divide. This episode is not. There's never going to be another
Sakshi
episode.
versus Naina.
If you're a teacher,
Yes.
how do you go about teaching someone something new? Do you want them to learn it perfectly immediately? Or do you want them to learn mota and then once they've reached a certain level of proficiency, then start tweaking and get them to a place?
Second. Why would you think I was the first?
Because based on your Linking Road story,
No, I'm saying the point is getting to the destination
fast.
However you get there, as long as you get to the destination, there's no points for stopping at a zebra crossing. There's no point for not breaking a signal. There are mota. But the point is getting to the destination. Even if it means starting from beyond the starting line.
Maybe the real journey was having the burnouts that we had along the way.
Yeah. Maybe the real journey was starting this podcast again. Whatever that means. I don't know if this episode has made any sense. Our team is all staring with no expression on their face actually, so I can't read it. My number has also increased. So I hope we're back. We might be rustier than before, worse than before, less cooked than before. But what did I just say? It's about showing up. And we are here on this boucle white couch.
And where are the subscribers? Burnt out.
Burnt out.
Subscribe. Come on. We're here. This free content. Subscribe, follow, comment. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube.
Hype this video. And we'll see you next week.